The stars are right, and that means it's time for another episode of The Whisper in Darkness. I'm your host, the Manfromleng. Thank you very much for joining me today. On this episode, I have a spoiler from the Scarlet Keys Investigator Expansion, so let's dive right in. Before we get started, I'd like to thank the patrons of this channel for their tremendous support. The Arkham Horror LCG community is amazing, and these people have gone above and beyond to bring you content like these spoilers. If you'd like to support the channel's goals and see your name on this list, head over to patreon.com, sign up for a tier of your choice, and claim your rewards. That would be awesome. Special thanks to Cole Monroe Chitty for the amazing art that graces the channel, Nicole Fiscus for the new Whisper in Darkness logo that I use for the podcast, and Nate Lost in Time and Space for the intro as well as the overlays. Thank you very much. I couldn't do it without you. Without further ado, let's get started. Hello Arkham Horror fans, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, I have a spoiler from the Scarlet Keys Investigator Expansion for you. Big thank you to Fantasy Flight Games for providing spoilers to all of the content creators out there. Today's card is Fighting Lessons. It is a Guardian skill that has 1 combat, 1 agility, and 1 wild skill icon. It has the practice trait, commit only to a skill test during an attack or evasion attempt. You can commit this skill to an investigator's test at any location. So what we have here is a manual dexterity and overpower rolled into 1. However, you can only commit this during an attack or evasion attempt, so this card will not help you during treacheries during the Mythos phase. However, if your deck is running tight on space, it may be helpful to include this card in order to get both the benefits of a manual dexterity and an overpower in your deck. The key difference here is that you are giving up the cantrip in that you get to draw a card after you play overpower or manual dexterity in order to be able to commit this skill to an investigator skill test at any location. Obviously, this is useful in multiplayer, not so much in solo, but certainly in multiplayer if your team has spread out over the map. Having a fighting lessons on hand that you can pass to an investigator who is making an attack or an evasion attempt is useful. Now, fighting lessons is similar to daring, a Guardian skill that was released in the Search for Gadath Mythos pack during the Dream Eater cycle. Just as a reminder, daring is a Guardian skill with 3 wild skill icons. It has the innate trait. You commit only to a skill test during an attack or evasion attempt against an enemy. That enemy gains Retaliate and Alert for the duration of this skill test, and after the skill test ends, you get to draw a card, whether the test was successful or not. So you can see there are quite a few similarities. The icons are a little bit different, but both of these cards are committed during only attack and evasion attempts. One of the key differences here being that with Fighting Lessons, you can commit this to any skill test on the table, while daring is limited to investigators at your location. One of the other key differences between these two cards is that Fighting Lessons has the practice trait while daring has the innate trait. So I think that if you are an investigator like Roland, who has practice makes perfect in their deck, Fighting Lessons will be appealing because you can use practice makes perfect to search your deck for Fighting Lessons, commit it to an attack or evasion attempt. If that attack is successful, you can bounce Fighting Lessons back to your hand so it's ready for another attack or evasion attempt, possibly during that very same turn. While Fighting Lessons and Daring are somewhat similar, I think they will have their own niches in the game. Fighting Lessons obviously synergizes with Practice Makes Perfect, so if you've already got that card in your deck, Fighting Lessons is a good choice. Fighting Lessons also lends itself to the multiplayer format. If you're playing solo or you don't have Practice Makes Perfect in your deck, then Daring is an option that you can look at, and certainly it has been a very popular include in Guardian decks since its release during the Dream Eater cycle. That's going to do it for this spoiler. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about Fighting Lessons. I look forward to hearing from you, and have a great day. That's going to do it for this episode. If you enjoyed what you hear, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you need to contact me, I can be reached at manfromleng@gmail.com. I'm also on Twitter at manfromleng. Until the stars are right, keep your shotgun close and your elder sign closer. Take care out there, and happy investigating.